Hi guys, welcome to our channel. Today will be a little bit of a personal video for me. I will explain and express what's going on with my wedding and the plans and everything towards the end. But right now I want to jump into some suggestions and some ideas if you do plan on continuing to have your wedding during COVID. So today is May 21st. So I just want to, just a disclaimer that I'm going based off of the news as of today and this morning. And, everything that's been going on and everything that's been discussed as far as event head counts and head counts for restaurants and things of that nature. So I just wanted to put that out there. I also want to express that I am not a medical professional. I do plan events, so that can kind of give some idea of, my ideas and my basis of different ideas that you can have in the place of your original big shebang for your wedding. So I've been planning events for about 5 to 7 years. I've done one wedding, and I'm doing my current wedding, so 2. And I've been a coordinator at dozens of events. Oh yes, second disclaimer. These ideas are solely based off of my location. Currently, I'm located in Georgia, but our wedding is in North Carolina because our families live in North Carolina. So I'm basing these things based off those 2 states. Your state may be differently. Obviously, New York and California are much bigger states. So just keep that into consideration. Currently, right now, you can have events up to 10 to 25 people in Georgia or North Carolina. North Carolina beginning this Friday, which is tomorrow. So I'm thinking maybe by the end of the year, it may rise to 50 to 75 people, depending on the outbreak. But third disclaimer, if you plan on having the big shebang, you want 100, 200 people, that's what you want, that's your dream, that's fine. That's your preference. But this year, I'm just going based off of my personal opinion, and I'm going based off of what my family needs and the comfortability for my family and those older family members. I don't plan on having that many people. So these opinions and these ideas are based off of that. Smaller weddings, maybe 50 people, probably no more than 75 people. So just go based off of those things. And if you do want to do the whole shebang, go for it. Next year. I'm not sure. I think you're at risk of getting ticketed or arrested if you do go against these COVID guidelines in Georgia and North Carolina. So just as a precaution, be sure to make sure you're safe when you do what you do. And next year, hopefully, this will all be water under the bridge. All right. Again, I will share my wedding plans, my personal wedding plans, at the end of the video. All right, so let's get into it. Number 1, the first idea that I would recommend would be having a limited head count reception and ceremony at your home if you do have a home. If you don't have a home, I would recommend maybe your apartment clubhouse, or maybe there's like a nice courtyard at your apartment complex or your housing division that may allow you to have a wedding at the cul-de-sac or have a wedding at the, what are those things called? The gazebo. They may be able to do that for you. I actually been to a wedding where they had a gazebo, however you say it. They had a gazebo wedding, and it was very beautiful, actually. It was very intimate and romantic. It was very hot, though. It was real hot. So just consider that when you're thinking about your guests. But yes, number 1, have a intimate setting and ceremony and reception at your home, and maybe have a catering company come, or a chef come cook for you and your 10 to 20, 25-ish people. All right. Number 2, have your wedding ceremony / reception, or just the ceremony, at a park. I know in North Carolina, there's this place called Duke Gardens, and it's a beautiful setting. Flowers are natural. You don't even need decorations because it's so beautiful, because the flowers are just there. And it's a lot less expensive to have your wedding at a park. And I might mention that in Georgia specifically, the parks are open. You can go to the parks. Granted, you can't have like 200 people at an event at the park, but I'm pretty sure a 30-minute ceremony would be just fine at the park, especially when you're only having 10, 20 people. So yes, at the park, that would be a great suggestion. Number 3, If you are exposed to, or you live in a state where you have access to cabins, I don't know why, I've never been to a cabin, but I've always wanted to experience something at a cabin. So having a wedding at a cabin, having that landscape of like the Tennessee mountains, or, you know, the trees. I mean, I thought that would be so intimate and so beautiful and so special, especially if you're having like a fall or winter wedding for this year. I just thought that would be so beautiful to capture the landscaping and the outside nature. I thought a cabin would be great, especially with us being near Tennessee. It's been a thought, but North Carolina has enough landscape, so we'll figure that out. Moving on. Okay, number 4. So you can have your ceremony at a landmark. So maybe at like a statue or a arch that's downtown, or, you know, anywhere that's a big landmark. That's something that it'll be easy for you guys to remember. It'd be a great memory. Have it outside. Everybody can capture this moment for you, and it could be special. And when you guys always visit that landmark, you'll have a memory to share with that special landmark or statue. I just think that's just very intimate and beautiful. I've actually seen a wedding like that as well. I saw a wedding where they actually had their wedding in March. They had their wedding in like Times Square, and I thought that was really, really nice. And I also know a coworker who had her wedding at Times Square, and then she had like a reception on a yacht, and it was very intimate and very beautiful. And yeah, so that's a great thing I would do. I actually think I would do that. But moving on, number 5, you can rent a mansion. Now, I'm not really sure about North Carolina. I don't know how their mansions look. I haven't really taken a look at them, but I know here in Georgia, when there was the Super Bowl here, I took a look at a lot of mansions just to see, you know, how these mansions look and could it be an event there. And I was just very curious. So mansions, and if you're in Georgia, I'm sure North Carolina as well. And North Carolina obviously has more bodies of water. So consider renting a mansion and having your 10, 15 people stay there in the mansion with you. And that's a great experience too, especially if you've never really experienced being in a mansion or staying at a vacation rental. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So I thought that would be a great idea. Okay, number 6, Georgia has many bodies of water, lakes, and North Carolina, obviously, it's a border state. So a lot of different water options. I would suggest having your ceremony and reception, or just your ceremony on a body of water or near a body of water, just to capture the back landscaping and the backdrop of your experience with your wedding and your nuptials and saying your vows to one another, and you see like, you know, the water in the background or waterfalls, whatever it is. But I thought that would be very beautiful and very elegant, very simple, elegant, capture the calmness of the waters and the vibes and everything. So having it on a body of water, that's always cool to me. All right. Number 7. Now this one might be a little bit, this one might be a little bit of a stretch because it involves international travel for a good amount of people. But I would say you can elope on your honeymoon. If your honeymoon is already paid for, you can't get your money back. It's done. You don't have travel insurance. Why not just elope there and, you know, have the big shebang next year or 2022, whenever. That's always a great option. If me and my fiance had paid for our honeymoon already, that's probably what we would do, because I'm more intimate anyway. So we would have made that happen. So if you really do think you might you're still going on your honeymoon and you have to go, then I would definitely recommend just eloping on your honeymoon and, you know, starting that process, because it's about love, right? So, all right. So number 8, which is very trendy now. I'm seeing a lot of people do this now, which is, I never really thought about it that way, but I'm going to get to it because I'm rambling. But number 8, have a virtual experience. So the virtual experience would include maybe Facebook Live, Instagram Live, have you can have like the stands, record the whole ceremony. You can also record the ceremony. I know with Zoom you can record the entire ceremony, and then maybe later when you do your big shebang, you can show the ceremony for the people who didn't get to make the call or whatever, which I'm pretty sure everybody will be able to. So having a virtual experience, granted, it may not be the best idea. It may not be what you want specifically, but at least everybody will have visually experienced your ceremony with you in that moment. So that's always great. And I also found this company. It's called Married Livestream, and this company travels and comes to your wedding to virtually record and live stream your wedding, and they record it and you can obviously save it for years to come. So if you're not as tech savvy, or if you don't have people who are able to come and record it for you or sit the stands up for you, I would definitely recommend Married Livestream, and I believe they're giving discounts at this time for COVID weddings. So check that out. I'll put the link in the description below. Okay, so number nine, I was completely inspired by Elaine Welterworth, which is the former Teen Vogue editor-in-chief. She's also an author, just wrote a book, and she had her wedding on her stoop in New York. It was so beautiful. It was about, looks like 10 or 15 people, very intimate. She had her flower company actually set up and decorate all the flowers on her New York brownstone stoop, and it was so beautiful. So I would definitely recommend having some sort of block party if you are in close proximity of your neighbors. Invite all of your neighbors. Everybody can party on their own lawn. You can have a DJ, and you can also include catering, of course. You know, the caterer can take the basket of food to each house that's on that block or on that corner. And I would definitely recommend something like that. If we had a house, or if we, had that type of setting, I think that would definitely be a great option. So keep that in mind. I'll also link below the Vogue article about Elaine Welterworth and her husband's wedding. Her husband's wedding. her and her husband's wedding layout and everything. It was so beautiful. And they also have a video. So I will include that in the Vogue link. The Vogue link has everything you need to see. So it was really beautiful. So that was number 9. Number 10 is probably the most common thing that's happening right now, depending on whether your government and courthouses are open. I would say the number 10 and the final one, go to the Justice of the Peace. Go ahead and get that paperwork done. Get your marriage license. Get it all taken care of, and have your ceremony at the Justice of the Peace. And then afterwards, you can have a formal dinner and gathering with your close family and friends, 10 to 20 people, at maybe your home, if you have a home, maybe a restaurant who's allowing partial capacity, because there are restaurants who are doing partial capacity to where they can have people sit down, but it's 6 feet apart. So it is a way to get that done as well. If you're not for putting other things together and you want this to be as simple as possible, going to the Justice of the Peace is the quickest thing to do. Have a bomb photo shoot with wherever you want to have your photo shoot, and then afterwards have a formal dinner. And all of these ideas I'm pretty sure will save a ton of money compared to what you would have spent with your 100 guests or 150, 200, whatever. I'm pretty sure these ideas will cut that price in half. So COVID has been a horrible experience for most people, but we can all agree that this experience has put things into perspective and has saved us a lot of money overall. So hair done, nails done, those things that you usually do weekly, waxes, events, weddings, traveling. This year has been a horrible one for sure, but it's definitely put into perspective what's really important and what's really not. So consider these things when you are planning your wedding and you really do genuinely want to save money. Take these into consideration. All right, so down to my personal view and what we're doing for our wedding. So I believe I put on my other video that in the beginning, our first venue actually completely went bankrupt. This was before COVID. So let me specify. Last summer, our venue went bankrupt and they had our deposit and they just closed. They just pieced out. So granted, Yarel and I were blessed enough to have our lawyer get involved and we got our money back, but it was a crazy process. So we had to find a new venue already last year, and that was a lot to deal with. And now with COVID approaching, it really put a damper on things a little bit more with the entire wedding process. So initially, what we wanted to do anyway was to have 75 to 80 people attend our wedding. We did not want a big shebang. It was more so, we had this mindset of everyone that is there, we want these people to not only be there for our wedding, but be there for our marriage, our support system, our village. We want these people to actually love on us in a way that we know they've always have. They've been consistent in our lives, very, very important at the top of our, minds. When we initially thought of the wedding, these 75 people were the first people we thought of. And that's how it was gonna go. But so COVID put a little spin in things. Our wedding, well, let me just generally say, our wedding is scheduled for this December 2020. We have hope and faith that the head count will get up to 50 to 75. We're hoping for, because this way we can invite 90% of who we're going to invite anyway. Out of consideration, we will be considering like layout and how people are sitting. We're considering all those different things with this pandemic happening. But we want to do what's best for our families as far as their health as well. We don't want to expose too many people. So at max, we're looking at having 50 to 60 people now. We've taken it down from 80. Yeah, 80 people, we're taking it down. We'll have to remove 20 people. Just comfortability for our guests. While the head count may increase more than that, we just don't feel comfortable having too many people gathering together. We also personally made the decision that even if this all gets better this year, we don't even plan to go to events more than 100 people. We don't even plan on it. Our honeymoon is up in the air. Everything's up in the air. But overall, we are concerned about our families. My fiance is half Jamaican. So people traveling from Jamaica or Florida or New York or wherever the case, we have to consider those people and traveling and, the reality of things. Some people have lost their jobs, the holiday season, because our wedding is right before the week before Christmas. So it is just, it's very stressful. But when I will say this, when you plan events, weddings, meetings, conferences, when you help plan these things, you understand that you adapt to change so quickly. I mean, as soon as COVID broke out, I was like, boop, we got 10 things we can do. So I've kind of been harboring this since March. I've had these ideas waiting here, sitting here ready. And as the weeks went on and how things have gotten so much worse, I'm so glad to share and help 2020 brides as much as possible, even 2021 brides as much as possible, because we don't know when this is going to leave. We don't know if this vaccination is really going to cure people. This can really be a pandemic for the next year or so, according to the news and the CDC. This could be continuous. So I encourage brides to still have your moment, still have your day. Do not postpone it if you can't. Get this done while you can, because 2021 gets here and we're in the same position or worse, then you're going to be like, dang, I should have just went on ahead and did something in 2020. So as much as possible, choose love first, choose your marriage first, and, consider your guests. Consider your guests, and especially if they're over the age of 60, 65, which we now see that no longer matters. But age is still a big factor, especially if you have underlying health issues. So if you could, and if you would, if you think these are great ideas, feel free to share this video, click subscribe, like, comment below if you have more ideas. That would be awesome. And just keep in mind that this, of course, is just my opinion based off of me and my family and our family's needs. And, so let me know if you have any more ideas, because come August, September, if stuff is not looking right, I'm going to have to choose maybe to downsize even more and do one of my own ideas. So let me know if you have any suggestions and share as much as possible. Let me know what you think. Have a good week and have a good Memorial Day weekend. Bye.